Clear today.
Good
So
morning. Good morning.
this week's theme has been all about the importance of exercising. So we thought, well, what happens when you get in a rut? Right? Happens. Kind of do the same thing over and over again. And I don't know. Do you do that, Nicole? Kind of go down to the gym and do the same exercises?
Well, it hit me hard this week when I changed things up. I have a friend from Toronto that is a yoga teacher, and she invited me over. And so I've done yoga on the rooftop 3 days in a row. She's also got a background in Pilates. Holy F is all I'm going to say as I'm talking and giggling right now. My abs hurt so much because just realized exactly what you said. It's so easy to get caught up in doing the same comfortable weights and exercises and movements. And even for me, when I go down to my mat, I tend to do the ones that I want to do that maybe
Mhm.
don't make me so uncomfortable because there's nobody around pushing me. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's why you hire people like a personal trainer, or that's why you get an app that if you're an app person, and I do see people in the gym using apps, or programs or coaches on the phone or the iPad, because it's going to probably challenge you more or go to a new class. So I'm so glad we're having this conversation. I go back to you and I when we've had seasons where we've been together in the same town, in those 2 years when you and I worked out from like Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. You were the one that would say, okay, we're changing it up. It's like, what
Yeah.
about that? Is it about the 5 or 6 week mark where you were changing it up, or 4 weeks,
Could
or?
four-ish, just because it's easier for people's brains if you go sort of each month. Like it's
Yeah.
just easier to remember as opposed to 5 weeks. Then you start running into when was my
Okay.
first week? Is
Right.
a,
Can you
yeah,
explain to us why that's so important in our body?
I think you can
Changing
tell
it.
us just based on how you feel, right? Our body gets used to doing certain movements. And that's also why it's really important to increase the weight because our strength improves. So therefore, we got to continue to challenge it. And our bodies don't just sort of move in one direction. Our bodies are amazing, right? They move in all different ways. They're able to do different things. So we need to challenge those different movements
Yeah.
for overall strength and also to help reduce repetitive strain injuries, right? If you're always doing this routine, yeah, you're going to get good at it and stronger at it, but it's going to cause imbalances in your body and possibly repetitive strain. Like if you're constantly doing a shoulder press like this, that's the
Yeah.
only shoulder exercise you do, you could end up causing some issues in your shoulder because you're not going to have a
Mm.
balance of the muscles all around the entire rotator cuff. And when that happens, instead of the bone moving smoothly, it might start to like kind of slide a
Mm.
little bit or get pulled in one direction. And then that's when you can run into issues. So it's so important to mix things up mentally as well. I know at first we think, oh, it's just easier. I just go and I do the same thing. I don't have to think about it. But it challenges your mind as well, and it's challenging your body to do different things. So you're going to build more overall strength instead of just that, let's say it's 8 exercises that you're doing all the time. So it's going to challenge your body, and that way you're going to continue to grow and
Yeah.
become stronger and fitter, right? Just
Yeah.
stronger doesn't necessarily mean fitness, right? So
Yeah.
so important to mix things up.
Yeah. We were using water bottles yesterday for weights, but inside the water bottles were sand. And I picked them up and I'm like, oh, they're pretty light. So I went and grabbed like the 7 pounds and the 10 pounds. So she was going to do 10 minutes of upper body, right? But it was the like, the holding and the like little pulses and then, different ones. And I started off on the 10 pounds because I'm strong. And she's like, mm-hmm. And honestly, about halfway, I had to drop them and I had to go to because it was really probably challenging different parts of my muscles that I'm not using in the gym, because I'm just doing, like you said, just like the certain moves that I really need to change up the variety. And like I said, my abs, I'm like, I'm like, wow, I probably do the same ab workouts more than I realize until you
Yeah.
start doing different ab workouts, right? Like the Pilates where you're laying on your back and your hands are under your bum, and like you're doing the like little
Flutter.
pulses, and then you're moving up, and then you're moving up, and then you're moving up, right? I don't do those on a
Mhm.
regular basis. So my abs going, what the hell are you doing? And you think, oh, I've got good strong abs, and then you do an exercise and you're like, oh, I still need to improve on my abs.
Right? Like if you're an elite basketball player, if you go and do something different, you may be sore just because we're
Yeah,
using our muscles differently. And just to
yeah,
be clear, being sore, there's a difference between being it's debilitating and then you're aware. You're like, oh yeah, okay, I can tell I did something. That would be the maximum that I want people to feel because
mhm,
what you've done is caused micro tears in your muscles, and that's what's causing the pain. So then they have to heal, repair, and come back stronger. So that's okay. But if it's debilitating, just think it's bigger tears in the muscles. So
yeah,
you don't want to do that. And if you do that, because sometimes accidentally we feeling really good in the gym and okay, I can do this. And the next day, like you can't sit down on the toilet, speaking from experience. Um, you've done some serious damage. So you need to back off and allow your body to heal. And then when you're talking about the lighter weights, yeah, that would have made you sore because you're doing way more repetitions than
mhm,
you do in the gym. So once in a while, that's okay. But for us midlife women, we
mhm,
want it heavier and a lot less reps. But once in a while, sure, to shake things up. But
mhm.
a majority of your workout, definitely heavier. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
deceiving how hard things are
yeah,
when you're doing multiple, like many, many repetitions.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
10
sure.
pounds. It's quite heavy,
I'm
quick.
I'm laughing because I just thought of a story in my younger years, in my 20-year-old years, when I had taken a summer where I rode my bike every single day
Mhm.
for 6 days, and I was selling books door to door. But my transportation was a bike, and I rode my bike far
Good
and
for
up hills
you.
and down hills, right? So in my head, as a young 20-year-old, I'm like, I'm in shape. So I go to university. In that first couple weeks of university, somebody says, hey, would you like to do the Terry Fox run? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in shape. I rode a bike all summer. How far? She's like, well, could you take on 10K? I'm like, that sounds easy. I used to do 10K easy on my bike.
On my bike.
On my bike. And I remember that moment of like hitting that first K, almost wanting to die, but I had so much ego that I pushed myself. And at the end, it's like the cramps everywhere. It was horrible. And I probably could not walk for days properly after that. But that exactly what you're saying is I still remember that story of thinking I was a rock star in shape, but different shape, different cardio system, right? Different
And different
muscle.
muscles. Yeah, absolutely. Just like a runner, they go on a bike, they're gonna have a really sore bum just from sitting. Literally
Right.
until, as I joke, because I teach spin all the time, is it'll callus over eventually and it won't bother you. But there is a small percentage of the population it never gets better. So you got to get the gel seats and so on. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
just different, just moving your
Mhm.
body in different ways. Like you can be a downhill skier, and then in the summer you go water skiing, and guess what? Your legs probably don't feel too bad. But oh my gosh, your arms and your lats from holding onto that rope from it pulling you, oh, they're going to be on fire. But it is important to mix it up for that reason so that you're
Right.
using all of your muscles in different ways because the
Yeah.
human body is brilliant. It moves so many different ways, right? It's like bench
Yeah.
press.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a pretty popular exercise, but what is it good for? Right? Like, okay, I guess push yourself up off the floor, but really, or if somebody falls on you, you need to have strength in other ways, right? Not just that exercise.
Right. Well,
Mhm.
let me see here. For a guy, it would be maybe in sex and missionary. I don't
True,
know.
holding. He can just get
Holding.
planked for that. Yep. Yep. Oh, funny. Yeah,
Oh,
but
awesome.
when you are switching up your stuff, guys, make sure you either A, knew what you're doing because you're already trained in this field of fitness, or hire a personal trainer to A, put the program together for you because it's serious stuff. It's physics, right? It's how the load that you're lifting is being applied to your joints. So if
Mm,
you're not doing it safely, you're going to end up hurting those joints. And that really sucks because you can do some
mm,
serious damage requiring surgery, or even if it's just sore and it puts you out for a week or longer.
right.
So get professional help, somebody that knows what they're doing and can watch you to make sure that you're doing the movement safely so that you don't hurt yourself. Because you always want to be moving forward, not hurting yourself, and then you take
Mhm.
2 steps back. Because it takes a long time once you've hurt yourself to get back to where you were,
Yeah.
as opposed to constantly moving forward. So, and then you're nervous too. You're like, oh, I don't do that exercise again because I hurt myself. And you got to start out slower, and so important.
Right. And you think about it as women. We go and hire a massage therapist, maybe a nutritionist or a dietitian. We hire an osteo, a chiropractor, a naturopath, a functional medicine doctor, right? We go
Yep.
to a mechanic to fix our car. Like, think of all the things that we do invest in. And I'm as guilty as charged. There was a time in my life that I would be like, I'm not hiring a personal trainer. I can figure this out. But now, as a woman in midlife, I'm like, sign me up. So, Melissa, for the woman that is watching now or later, and they want to work with somebody, how can they work with you? Because you're an incredible trainer. You have taught me so much over the years. I'm so grateful for your, 30, what,
Yeah.
38
I started
years.
when I was 8. So yeah, that's about.
But you're willing to put a program together for women,
For sure.
and I feel it's very affordable because I've hired personal trainers where it is really expensive, worth it, but expensive. I find that your prices are very affordable for women. How can they? What do you do? How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, just reach out to me on like put a message below this video here, or DM me on Facebook, and then we can get together. And then it's finding out what your needs are. What level are you at? It's going to vary greatly in terms of what people need, just depending on their current state, physical state right now, right? And
Mhm.
then depending on where they live. So most people, it's just via Zoom, and watching them work out and giving them tips to make sure it's safe, and creating the program and changing it up and all that. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thanks
Mm.
for tuning in. I'm just about ready. I'm in my bathing suit because I'm going to hit the ocean this morning and go
Woo!
kayaking. I'm going hunting for dolphins.
Yay! Looking. Don't say hunting. Looking.
Looking,
Yeah.
searching, looking. Yes, actually, I'm going to be attracting. How about that? I'm
Yeah.
attracting and manifesting dolphins, and they're going to swim underneath my kayak.
Careful. It's very scary when that happens. It's happened once. Careful what you wish for, how close they come. Ah.
Awesome. Thanks for
Have
tuning in,
fun.
everyone.
Bye, guys.